What's going on, you guys? So today we're seeing if we can lower the intake temps on the CD5 Accord, because usually when I'm sitting in line or waiting at SCCA, or if I'm gonna be at the track and it's gonna be sitting there running, or if we're under a caution lap or anything like that, when the time comes, the intake temps are getting a little hot. It doesn't seem to evacuate heat out from under the hood very well. But what we've done is I've made a little heat shield. This one's out of cardboard, just for like a proof of concept. But we're gonna take the car on a couple laps of the highway and see if it helps reduce our intake temps, if it helps make them better. We're gonna do some stop and go driving and then a little back road. Just do one big loop and we're gonna see how it affects our intake temps. Now, I've already done the loop once, so the car is nice and warmed up, so we should be good to go. So let's do a couple loops of the highway and some back roads and stop and go and see what our intake temps do. Right now, after the initial loop of the highway, the intake temp is sitting at 132. Again, it is a little cooler today. It's 64 degrees. So let's run it without the shield on there and see what she does. So we're back from our first loop, the one that we're using as our control, I guess you would say, just to see where all of our numbers are. Where our coolant temperature, not coolant temp, air intake temperature, there we go. To see where our intake temperature is after driving it for a little bit. Now I just pulled in back to my driveway and I'm just sitting, so let's see how it's doing. When we pulled in, it was around 90. You're already back to 109. And I imagine it's going to continue to climb rather quickly. 110. Let's see if we get 111. 111. And then 112. It's going to continue to go up. Let's see what it gets to. We are at 127 and climbing. At 141. We've been sitting for a good minute now, but the temps just keep rising. I know that's what's gonna happen, over time with it just sitting. But let's throw this guy in there and see what it does. The intake temps were 142 when I got out of the car. They're still at 142, but now we've got our heat shield for our air filter, our intake. So let's see if it makes a difference. I know it's only made of cardboard, but we'll see what it does. to sitting in the driveway. This is our temp. I think it is going up a little bit, a little quick. Let's see. We're at 115 right now. Let's give it a second and see how hot it gets. 10 minutes later, just as I waited before, we're back to 142, 143 now. So maybe while sitting still it doesn't have that big of an effect, but I think while moving it does. I think the conclusion is while moving it helps, but while sitting still not really. I just think it helps direct cooler air into the filter, into the intake. So maybe if I actually make it out of some sort of plastic and put some sort of heat shielding on it, it'll help. It is just made out of cardboard again, so it's just sitting there heat soaking, woo, just like the rest of the engine. But yeah, that seems to be the conclusion of it for now.
Alright, so the rest of this is pretty much going to be a voice over. So here's a little side quest I did on my wife's car. She had a PCV hose that collapsed on itself, so we got that replaced. Now, a while back, I got an EX rear subframe and EX front sway bar, EX Accord that is, for my CD5 Accord. Why did I do that? Because the front sway bar is thicker and the LX Accord does not come with a rear sway bar, and the EXs do. And unfortunately, Honda did not put all of the holes. They didn't have all the provisions for you to just bolt on the rear sway bar. I wish they did, but they did not. So I went ahead and got the front and rear sway bars and rear subframe from an EX to swap it out. So the front sway bar on an LX is 22 millimeters, and the front sway bar on an EX is 27 millimeters. The rear sway bar that I'll be adding is 15 millimeters. There's the front and the two front sway bars next to each other. And here are all of the new bushings and sway bar end links for the rear that and the front that I'll be switching out. There's the old ones, and there's the new ones next to it. And then here are the new ones installed. So that's the front. The sway bar end links on the front. And then we moved on to the rear. So I started to remove the rear subframe. And I was going to record the whole process, but we ran into a little hiccup. This gas tank strap is also a little bit loose, so I went ahead and corrected that as well with the bracket, because that's all that was wrong. The nut that was welded onto the back of the bracket broke, so I just replaced it. There's where the holes would be if this rear subframe had the provisions for it, but the LXs and value package and so on, the lower trim levels do not. Here's the new one, as you can see, with the provisions to add the rear sway bar onto the car. And unfortunately, as I was taking it apart, I found out that my toe adjustments, the camber bolts in there, were seized, and it ended up just shearing the nut right off. Same thing on the other side. The other side, the nut came off, but the bushing started spinning inside. So that was a problem. There's the gas tank strap brackets fixed. New bushings in the rear. I was able to get the rear subframe back in there. Got new camber bolts. Here's the part numbers if you need them. Honda does still make them for these cars. And then I got control arms with 80,000 miles less than mine had on them, and got them in there and torqued everything down and marked them so I could see if they moved. So the car's back together and ready to go. And then here's a clip from the last event. Now this clip was before I did all the work for the sway bar. So everything that you see here is going to be with the stock 22 millimeter front sway bar and no rear sway bar. You can't really see it in this clip, but in the pictures that follow this clip, you'll be able to see how much body roll the car actually has. And then here we go. You can see the car three-wheeling a little bit, picking up that passenger rear wheel. And these pictures were taken by Auto Enthusiast Network. He's a good friend of mine. and they are great shots, so thank you very much for those. And then here you can see how much body roll the car actually has, and it's kind of crazy. The rest are just pictures of the wear on the car after the event. The rotor started to tint blue a little bit. The brake fluid that was clear is now very dark, and our tires, you know, they got some use. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Sorry if it's a little boring. I'm a bit of a technical person, I guess, but if you like what you see, then please subscribe. I'm Nobel Delmar Racing on all social medias. So, you know, please like, share, subscribe, whatever. If you like what you see, that's pretty much going to be it. And till the next one.